Hello and welcome to another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohort. He's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, Timmy, let's get it started. We got to start with the New England Patriots. Look, they're playing the games. We're rooting for them. Patriots, it wasn't pretty, but they beat the Arizona Cardinals. A tough team. They were coming in at game 6 and 4 with a top young quarterback in Murray. Patriots get it done, and to me, it's all about Bill Belichick.
It's really incredible. I mean, there are zero weapons. I mean, the offensive line is good. I'll give them credit, and our running game is good.
And Damian Harris is a developing running back.
Why he sat on the bench all year last year is beyond me. You know, they could have done something with him last year. I don't know if he was hurt or whatever, but he was a better runner than anyone that was on running the ball for them last year. I mean,
no question. Every carry that Sony Michel gets and Damian Harris doesn't is a crime.
Yeah, add 2 yards to every run Sony Michel gets. You know, Harris fights out. He runs downhill. You know, and I'm not going to elaborate, but why he sat on the bench all year last year is beyond me.
Damian Harris gets to the second level to me like no running back I've seen for the Patriots in forever.
Yeah, why did he sit on the bench all year last year? I mean,
I don't know. Look, Ivan Fears, the longtime running backs coach, really liked him, talked him up a lot last year. I just think they felt like it was a developmental year, and he had a lot of faith in rookies.
I know he had a lot of miles on him from Alabama, so maybe in the long run it's beneficial that every year for a running back is like 7 years in regular human life, right? I mean,
right. Yeah,
those guys take a beating.
Punishment. But look, it's all about Belichick to me. Cam Newton is putting up historic, crappy numbers as a quarterback, but yet they're competitive other than the 49ers game, and they're 5-6 when they have no reason to be.
You know, the NFL this year, doesn't it feel like every Sunday, like there's a bunch of surprises?
Yeah, it's definitely.
You say, oh my, like the Seattle game, you said, oh goodness, that's not even going to be close. And I mean, these games are tough to pick. I'll tell you that. Who's going to win? Every Sunday, it's a toss-up.
Which look lends well for the next season is because the Patriots, if they get some good offensive weapons, if they get a quality quarterback, not even a great quarterback, and they add some players, the Patriots can be in the mix next year. This year is truly a developmental rebuild year.
Scotty, what worries me is the wide receiver core. I mean, Myers is a serviceable guy. You know
He's a fourth wide receiver.
He's an excellent fourth receiver. I'll take him all day as my fourth receiver.
As a slot receiver, absolutely, yeah.
But with this core, you have to be able to throw the ball in the NFL. You have to. And there's, Brady, he'd probably be doing worse now because he can't run with the ball. At least Cam gets a few yards with his legs now and then. We'd be minus even those runs by Cam,
Yeah, make no mistake about it, Timmy. If Tom Brady is the quarterback of this team, they're no better than 5-6.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw it at the end of last year.
Yeah.
The defense and the worst succession of quarterbacks that one team ever played 8 games in a row last year. We were all high on the Patriots when they were undefeated at 8-0 or 9-0, I think.
8-0, and then they went 4-5 the rest of the season.
They played half-decent teams, and with the greatest quarterback of all time at the helm, they went 4-5.
And they had a lot better team last year than they have this team.
He saw the writing on. He saw that there was nobody to throw to. There's nobody to throw. The tight ends. I mean, we might as well just put 2 other tackles out there.
Well, that's what they have. I mean, they have just the 2 young tight ends, and they got Izzo, who's worth nothing. Cam. The verdict is in. Cam is no more to me than a backup quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. His mechanics are horrendous. And he doesn't read defenses very well.
He can't make all the throws like a guy like Jimmy G.
Well, that's what he just threw a little grenade. He threw a little grenade into the conversation here. Well, I'll give Jimmy G credit for this. Jimmy G has more of a computer brain than I look at quarterbacks as like having a little computer in their head, and Cam's is 2 gigabytes, Brady's is 10 gigabytes, and Jimmy G's like 6 gigabytes.
Well, Cam's a great athlete, and I think he reads defenses pretty well. I just don't think he can make the throws.
What I don't think Cam does is, like Brady used to get up to the line and he'd see the defense. And, before, when they broke the huddle, there were 3 options for the receiver, say. If the D-back is right up on you, you're doing A. If he's 5 yards out, you're doing B. If he's 10 yards out, you're doing C. And Brady would compute that in his head. And he would know, I'm throwing to Edelman 10 yards out, 2 yards over in 2.7 seconds. I don't think Cam is able to compute that. And I don't know if the Patriots are willing to adjust their offense to suit like his capabilities when it comes to reading defenses.
Well, Bill Belichick really likes Cam. Whether that dictates a future with Cam after this season, we'll see. I don't see it. But what the most important thing that's happening now is guys like Duger, guys like Winovich finally again, guys like Uch, maybe even Jennings. The young players are starting to develop. We've seen that in the last few games, and that bodes well for next season.
Yeah, but it just comes back to the quarterback in this league.
Absolutely. Look, but Bill Belichick, with an average quarterback, we saw that in 2008 with Matt Cassell, can win 10 to 11 games.
Quarterbacks, and as we were just talking about receivers, I mean, is he going to draft a receiver? Is he going to go into free agency?
He's going to do both. That's a great point to me. He's going to end up probably signing a wide receiver. Won't sign him for big money. Sign a mid-level guy, and then try to draft a guy.
And we still
system. You're feeling all right.
We still desperately need a good tight end.
We need any tight end. We need a below-average tight end.
I know.
It's extraordinary that you go from Gronkowski and then the history. Guys like Ben Coates, Hernandez. Yeah, we had great tight ends, and then literally just they're non-existent. Can't stay on the field and can't catch a pass.
I know. We can run the ball. This is like 1950s NFL right now.
Yeah, right. We grind it out, short games. Try to keep close to the end, and
keep the star quarterback off the field for the other team,
and have things and have like good field goal kickers and punters. Like right now, Nick Folk went from being the worst player on the Patriots to arguably the best player on the Patriots.
Is our former kicker? Did he get cut yet?
Gostkowski,
is he still?
I don't know. You all of a sudden are going to start looking good again. Yeah, nobody dislikes Steven Gostkowski more than you did.
Well, I loved him until he started making extra points by 6 inches inside of the upright. Did he get cut yet? I know he was.
No, I don't know if he got cut. I don't think he did yet. I mean, obviously, field goal kickers. It's actually an easy gig this year, and the field goal kickers have a very high percentage because there's no pressure. A guy like Nick Folk, he just feels like it's this game-winning opportunity. It's like it's a practice.
Who would have thought he would have kicked 2 50-plus field goals to win games this year? I mean, what would the odds in Vegas have been on that? I mean,
oh, no, you wouldn't even have got them. All right, so guys in the defensive line, I really do believe that the Patriots' number 1 draft pick will not be sexy. I know we like wide receivers and tight ends. It'll be a defensive lineman because they are small in the defensive line. But you got to give guys like Adam Butler and Lawrence Guy, who've been the past, they're the present, and now all of a sudden I'm starting to think they are still the future. These guys really came to play on Sunday. Yeah,
they did a good job. I mean, keeping Murray in check. I mean, that dude is he's hard to contain.
They've done well against
quick.
Jackson and
Murray. They did great against Jackson. If we did as good against Jackson last year as we did this year, we might have won that game last year.
And for a large part of the Kansas City game, they did well against Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, they could have won that game.
Russell Wilson, they had problems with.
But then a few weeks ago, the defense looked like a sieve, right? What was it, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, Deshaun Watson. I have to be honest with you. I love Deshaun Watson. I just thought he was fantastic that game. That guy was making.
What's his record this year? It's terrible, right?
No, it's remarkable, right? well, they were a train wreck. They had Bill O'Brien, who they fired, and he's a terrible coach. But look, I'd take Watson on the Patriots. I'd give you a hell of a lot.
My God, I know.
You could have the first round picks for the next 5 years. You give me Deshaun Watson.
You watch how they played against the Patriots, and it's shocking that their record is as poor as it is. I mean, with that kid at quarterback.
Yeah, and you get Watt in the defensive line and stuff. So they have players. They just have a lot of weaknesses, and I think they've lost a lot of close games.
Scotty, I just don't think with this, I just don't see them refilling the wide receiver, tight end coffer quick enough, for us to really do anything next year. And I just don't see it.
It's kind of like the relief corps in baseball, how they kind of can fix that one way or the other each year. You can do it. There's a lot of quality guys.
So do you see absolutely no way if there's some like a Julio Jones sitting there when they get the pick, that they don't take a guy like that?
Look, they got, they don't have a great history of drafting wide receivers in the first round. N'Keal Harry.
I know, but we desperately need a guy like that, even to attract a good quarterback. What quarterback would ever want to come here with the receiving core and tight end core he has to work with right now?
Yeah, look, I think it's easier to get – it should be easier to get a quality wide receiver than a stud defensive lineman. And you got to shore up the defensive line with some size. I'd like to see if that, if there's a guy out there that I'd like to have them do that. All right, the boys are out west for 2 games. They play the Chargers, then they play the Rams in a 10-day period. They'll stay out there. They have an exciting quarterback in Herbert. Justin.
Oh, I like him a lot. Now, what pick was he in the draft?
I think top 10. Around the top.
I like him. I think he's got a bright future. He's got all the intangibles. He's got it all.
Yeah, look, he's a perfect kind of guy for the Patriots to get.
Yes.
He obviously would not be not a top 3 pick or something, but a guy they could get in the middle of the first round if they thought they had a guy like that.
Now, would Herbert be sitting on the bench? Did the starter get hurt or something like that, or was he?
Yeah, actually, they did get. Yeah, I think that he did get hurt. Yeah, obviously they replaced Rivers.
Yes.
I think it was Tyrod Taylor. I
yes.
think it was Taylor who got hurt. He was the quarterback initially, and then they brought in, and Herbert. That was it for that. Chargers are tough. Look, the fact is that if you look at the Patriots' remaining schedule of 5 games, the only game that they win, the Jets, they could very well go in 1-4. I think this is it for the Patriots. I think they lose against the Chargers on Sunday.
You would think that, but the NFL this year, it's just crazy, I could see Belichick pulling some scheme out of his hat and finding a way to win 3 of those,
All right, I got the Patriots losing 23-10 on Sunday. Timmy, tell me what you got.
I got them winning. 17 to 4. 17-14.
Oh my God! I don't know. Well,
I just guaranteed a loss, right?
I don't know. No, that's not true. Because when you tell them say they lose, a lot of times they lose it.
It's so wacky,
I know.
The NFL this year, I can't figure it out. I mean, thank God I'm not really much of a gambling man. I would.
You're just you're out in $10 a week, right?
I'd be dipping into the home equity loan. I think.
Yeah, right.
These, how about that Philly game? Did you see they went for the 2 points and it covered the spread?
Oh, is that right?
So there must have been a million crazy gamblers in Philly. There's no other reason that they could have gone for 2 other than to cover the spread the other night.
I know.
The spread was 6.5. They went for 2. I mean, there was 11 seconds left in the game. The spread was 6.5. And they went for 2 to lose by 6 versus 7. And they covered the spread. I don't know if I've ever seen a game that said gambling all over it like that did.
Look, you're going to see more and more of that. You're going to see the and then the ticker is going to have all the spreads and stuff. You're going to have all that. I saw that with the Tyson fight over the weekend. All that event was strictly for gamblers. That was all about DraftKings. You watch that. That's what they're going to do. They don't care about the purity of these sports anymore, these owners. They care about the bottom line. So we'll see.
So who was the favorite in the Tyson fight?
Tyson was the favorite.
He was.
It was a draw.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Tyson won, but they had like celebrity judges. It was a joke. If you bet on that event, then you're a degenerate and you just deserve whatever you get.
So you bet on it, right?
I had a little action actually on the Jake Paul, Nate Robinson.
Oh my God! Did Nate wake up yet? Did Nate wake up yet?
Holy shit! Right?
And he was all talk before it saying he was an athlete and blah blah blah. And boy,
if you can't go into a boxing match without heavy experience, or you're going to get laid out.
he got knocked into the last week.
Oh.
I like Nate Robinson too. I mean, it was sorry to see anyone get hit that hard, boy, but he got hit.
I heard some rumor that he only got paid $600.
No.
I don't know. I can't believe that's true.
That's like 3 ringside seats right there. That's it.
I know. He's an idiot. All right, go to the Celtics, and it's trade exception porn.
Can you believe it?
Look, that's just for junkies. That's
Did we get now
NBA junkies with this whole trade exception stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's very complicated stuff. I mean, Russell, the professor,
basically,
has it all
what we can do now is acquire, and we don't have to match salaries. In fact, we can acquire a guy who makes 20 plus million a year. We can acquire him, and we actually can't give up any players.
So do we get off Danny Ainge's back a little bit right now then, because he got it done?
I don't know. Look, if it was clear what he did not trade for, if it was Miles Turner and a first-round pick, seems like that would have been a nice deal. We'll see. I like Tristan Thompson. If you ask me the question, Tristan Thompson or Miles Turner, I would say Tristan Thompson.
Well, how about Tristan Thompson or Gordon Hayward?
Tristan Thompson,
Yeah.
Because I know Tristan Thompson's going to show up. I know he's a good veteran presence, and I know he fits the Celtics need. I don't know what Grandpa's going to do.
So right now, we're looking for a disgruntled star somewhere in the $28 million range, right?
Yeah,
somebody who, I mean, Danny doesn't have all those draft pick chits to give away anymore.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know how we're going to pry a star from somebody's, unless they're just looking to dump salary somewhere.
Yeah, and you'd have to just give up. I think maybe you could give up a couple of young players, possibly. I don't know how that all works, but you couldn't give up any big salaries.
Who would be Grant Williams? Who would be some of the people you'd put out there?
Look, I think that's where Nesmith is very interesting. If he develops early, then and he shows great promise, then he might be a legitimate piece that you could, turn to get a guy like, I don't know, but Bradley Beal would be a dream.
So you think this would be
Aaron Gordon type? You're going to get a small forward.
Do you think this will be something done during the season?
Well, Danny said that
not preseason.
Nothing immediate would be either a deadline deal, which we know Danny doesn't do deadline deals, and we've been ragging on him for a couple years, or you could go over to the next season.
So what was the name you just threw out there? I know you're in love with
Aaron Gordon is a possibility. Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal. He's the guy you love, right?
Oh my God!
Is there any possibility?
I don't know. If John Wall leaves the Wizards, then they're being stripped down pretty bare, and then Bradley Beal would have absolutely no reason to be on that team.
And Beal's a free agent after this year.
Tatum's, they're buddy.
Is he a free agent? Is this his free agency year?
No, Beal signed a deal. No, Bill signed a deal, so he'd be signed, sealed, delivered.
So what would their interest be in letting him go?
Just getting right. You build around Bradley Beal. I don't know. They'd have to get a lot of young chips and
I don't know if Danny. I mean, who could we give up? Would Grant Williams be a trade chip? I mean,
I don't know.
We really don't have anyone. We don't have anyone to dangle. Marcus Smart, I know you're dying to get rid of him.
No, I'm not dying to get.
You were dying to get
rid of Marcus Smart.
You'd buy his plane ticket tomorrow for some reason.
I'm selling high, Timmy. You know how that is. But I wonder if I am selling high right now because I wonder if Danny had the opportunity to get that second pick in the draft for Marcus Smart. If that was the case, I would have loved to have pulled the trigger on that.
Well, that second pick in the draft was that big
Ends
kid.
up Wiseman,
He's a developmental guy. I mean, he could be a bust. I mean,
he could be a bust, but then he could be a big star too.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have your three. You know what you're going to get with Marcus Smart? It's only going to get either the same or worse. You're not going to get any better from Marcus Smart.
You wonder. I know you keep saying that Brown and Smart don't get along. Do you really think there's a lot of truth in that?
I think that Marcus Smart thinks he's the leader of the team, and
I think he is too. I mean, you don't have to be the best player on the team to be the leader.
In the NBA, if you're the best player on the team, is the leader. I mean, you can look at it.
I've never played in the NBA, but some personalities are just. Some people are just born leaders, and I think Marcus Smart's a born leader, the kind of guy, those old World War II movies, John Wayne followed him into a foxhole. That's what Marcus Smart reminds me.
Are you going to follow him into the late in the fourth quarter, taking the final shot? Come on.
Leadership is a tricky thing, I mean.
The NBA is all about who's going to take the shots. That's what it is. It's not hard. It's not. The NBA's not like that.
I guess it's not. That's all I can lean on.
Look, if you hit a guy, you get a foul. In the NHL, if you hit a guy, there's no penalty. Right?
Yeah, it's a physical thing. Yeah,
it's a much different kind of game, right?
But I mean, look at Kyrie Irving. He was clearly the best player on the team. He doesn't have a leadership bone in his body. I mean.
Right, they were rudderless, and look what happened.
He tried to be a leader because he's the best player, but he doesn't have. It's just not in him.
But that's why they were rudderless, because the best player in the basketball team has to be the leader. That's how it works.
So you have to have the leadership. You have to have the leadership, personality, and the skill to back it up. That's what you have to have.
Yeah, absolutely. John Havlicek, the leaders of the team. I mean, we could just go on and on.
I mean, was Durant the leader on that Golden State team? Would you say, or was
Durant came later on? I mean,
yeah, he was the best player. He was the best player, but he wasn't the leader. I would say that.
I mean, arguable that Curry or him were the best players.
I would say Durant was,
Right, it's always the best player in the NBA. I'm just
I think Curry was the leader on that team. Maybe even one of the other guys, those veterans that they had there. I don't know. We could argue about this for days.
Yeah. So Kemba's going to start the season hurt. I don't really care. It's a long season.
It's just not good, Scotty, to see him getting treatment before the first game. I mean, that's not a good sign. That knee is really that's trouble.
Stem cell. God bless the new technologies and everything, but stem cell is still very treatment.
I know. I mean, I'm very worried about that. I mean, we haven't played a game yet, and he's in trouble.
Yeah, he's a very frail guy. You can just see, and for a long season, I don't think he's built for it anymore.
He's not, and I'll tell you, he cannot have another playoff series like he had last year. I mean, he was invisible in the playoffs last year.
Well, you're going to like Jeffrey Teague a lot. I like Jeff Teague a hell of a lot. This is a kid who's for a long time's averaged 10-plus points a game. He'll step in and be in the starting lineup. Look, he's not a 35-minute a point guy either, but this gives enough time for Kemba to get well. And all I want for Kemba in the playoffs is 25 minutes a game. Get him ready.
We got rid of that stiff grandpa. He's gone. We were all going crazy watching him play.
Nobody's going to miss him.
No. I mean, he had all the chances in the world. And so I think the team's looking better right now, if you ask me. I like the kid they drafted, Well,
look, I think they're going to need production from Nesmith. I don't think this –
yeah.
It's going to be a very difficult situation because he didn't have the summer league. I mean, this guy – remember, 13 days from now is the first exhibition game.
Hopefully he's someone just shooting thousands of threes every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just going to learn on the fly.
We needed just that drop-dead shooter. We desperately needed that guy.
Look, it's whether this guy can get his shot. Can he move? Is he quick enough in the NBA to get a shot? But he has his guys at 6'6".
Yeah, they're going to be watching Brown. They're going to be watching Tatum. You know, I mean, with two guys like that on the court, and
in the NBA, you can get in the NBA. They'll give you a 3-point shot.
Yeah, they'll make some plays to get him open.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get a shot.
No, I think he's the most interesting storyline going into the season is to see what we get out of him early.
Wouldn't it be nice if he was just another Ray Allen type? That would be very nice.
Yeah, that's going to take some time. Look, the kid's going to need to develop. We'll have to be patient. But if he can contribute second half of the season, you know, and all of a sudden be a good guy off the bench for 15, 20 minutes, giving us spurts of offense.
Like a Corver kind of shooter?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. J.J. Redick.
Yeah.
Crawford, Jamal Crawford.
Just those guys, you winch when they shoot because you know it's going in.
Look, Tyler Hero. You know, if he develops like a hero, I'll take that almost in the same draft position. Evan Turner, it's funny to me. Evan Turner, remember Evan Turner, who played for the Celtics, who then signed a big contract with Portland. There was rumors about a week or two ago, wouldn't it be nice to Evan Turner come back to the Celtics? Well, he came back as an assistant coach. Well, what we really know is that he's the 16th man on the bench.
You think you can suit him up?
Oh, I think that's exactly what's going to happen is that he'll run with the team during the season. He'll play some role.
How old is he?
I don't know. Old enough. He's not that old. It's got to be early 30s.
Why would he? I mean, the pay can't be even close. Why would he do that?
Well, he got no feelers from anybody in the NBA. They don't want to sign him or anything. So he gets into the coaching ranks. Next thing you know, if they have some injuries, or maybe in the playoffs, I'm going to bet in the playoffs for sure you're going to see Evan Turner on that bench.
Would that be the first time in history that happened? The guy came off the coaching bench and put the suit on?
No, they've had it before. But they're just trying to circumvent the whole roster situation.
Wow, holy smokes, that would be.
Well, that's what they did.
That's crazy.
No question. But also those guys with injuries and stuff, sometimes they have a problem getting 10 guys to practice. They don't even have 10 guys to. So now you have Evan Turner there. You watch. That's the moment I heard it, Timmy, I thought, okay, 16th guy. No question.
Wow. That's
sure.
I didn't even see it.
Move, right?
It's a Red Auerbach move.
Yeah, right. All right, we're going to quickly go Red Sox, Bruins. No, nothing. The sounds of silence, as Simon and Garfunkel would say. It's December 2nd. You plan on selling any shirts or hats to make anybody remember that the Red Sox even exist on the planet?
Do you think anyone will be in the stands in the opening day?
I don't think because of the virus they will, but I think at some point, as Sam Kennedy has said, I do agree. At some point during the season there will be. But
I mean, we hear nothing in baseball right now. Nothing.
No, they're very minor moves across the league. You know, not big movement. This is just weird. They've become non-existent. One of the major sports is non-existent.
The NBA has completely stolen their thunder.
In the NFL,
it's amazing.
Right?
I mean, we at this point we used to be talking like crazy, Scotty. Yep. You know about the Red Sox and baseball and who's going where and what. It's nothing.
Well, we've been doing this show for 6 years, Timmy. I always considered it until the last year of baseball show.
Yeah, they're just dropping the ball, Scotty. They got to do something. They got to go to 7 innings or something. I mean, something has to change in Major League Baseball. Yeah. There is no interest, at least around here. And this is a baseball crazy town. I mean, they have lost the kids. They've lost everybody.
That's why we need to bring back Johnny Lester. That will be a move to wake up the rabid fans. Would you agree?
I would love to see him here. I would love the guy. You know, I mean, one of the greatest faux pas of all time in Red Sox history.
Yeah, right. All of a sudden, that kind of wakes people up, I think. All right, so NHL, we'll wrap up with the NHL. They're threatening to not play at all, to not have a season. That's what the NHL and the Players Association are fighting right now about starting and stuff. And they're threatening the NHL is threatening to cancel this season. Really? What is it about these leagues that think that they can treat their players so poorly?
What is the big holdup? Just the
I don't know. I think it's when did they get started? A lot of things.
Well, the one thing that I saw it was going to be the Canadian teams would only play the Canadian teams. Did you see that?
No, I see. Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's how they're going to start out, I believe.
Oh, because
crossing the border. Yeah.
Canada's right.
Yeah.
It's
So that was
ridiculous.
I think that is set in stone, Scotty. That only the Canadian teams will play Canadian teams, and they were talking maybe even the championship could possibly be the winner of Canada versus the winner of America.
Oh my God! See, it's crazy crap like this that's going to end these leagues. You know, if they get so ridiculous.
But how do you get around it if the countries are saying no, you can't bring your team here?
Then you just have to delay the playing of the seasons until this vaccine has arrived in some level. It's not going to be distributed right away, but you may have to delay the season for a couple of months.
And just go Canada, Canadians play Canadians. That's it.
I get.
That's how they're starting, Scotty. That's how they're starting right now. When they do, if they start when they're supposed to start. I'm under the news I've heard is that's how it's going to start.
Unbelievable. This is obviously a difficult situation. The bubble was great, but obviously they can't do the bubble.
Yeah, that's not sustainable. No,
right. That you're not going to get anybody. In fact, the NFL, and we'll wrap it up. But the NFL, Goodell said today they're not doing a bubble. Nobody wants to do a bubble.
These are young men with families and lives, and
Yeah, you think the NBA players and the NHL players talk to the end? They were talking to the NFL players. They all hang out in the same circles. These professional athletes are like, no, the last thing you want to do is go to a freaking bubble.
There's a thing called sex, I think, that runs the world. You know what I mean? And unless they're going to be sneaking the wives in or the girlfriends in through the back door.
Yeah,
that's not happening.
It's much more important the girlfriends than the wives. I'm telling you that. All right, well, that's our show tonight. Of course, we want to thank everyone behind the scenes, Corbin. We want to thank, of course, JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.